Okay, so last month on a narrow vote, Democrats lost majority holding on the board of the NLRB, which is the NLRB. You know, that's the organization that legally fights on behalf of labor on account of the federal government. The NLRB has done a lot of good under Biden, and we we knew Democrats lost majority of the board, but earlier today, Ro Khanna put out a Twitter thread essentially saying the only reason we lost control of the... Pardon me if this was already known. It's just this is being presented so straightforwardly by a Democrat congressman, you know? That this was done as like an inexcusable fumble. Like there was no... This was like Democrat incompetence gave Republicans the NLRB 2 years too early, which is insane. It's genuinely malicious. It's bad enough that Ro Khanna is talking about it. Due to an unforced error by Democrats, we lost the National Labor Relations Board majority 2 years earlier than expected. This is a huge setback for the hundreds of thousands of workers across this country organizing for a better contract. Let me explain. The NLRB is America's leading labor law enforcement agency. In the last 3 years, union petitioners have doubled because we have a strong NLRB that supports workers who choose to form unions, ensures that corporations allow free and fair union elections, and protects union workers if big business retaliates against them. The term of our previous NLRB chair, Lauren McFerrin, just expired on December 15th. She was eligible for reconfirmation alongside a Republican who would be paired with her. This would have secured a 3-2 Democratic majority on the NLRB for the first 2 years of Trump's second term. Bernie Sanders did the right thing. He cleared her nomination on August 6th, but the Dems fumbled it. On the morning of the 11th, Senate Democrats had a chance to move McFerrin's nomination vote through, which would have led to a secondary vote to confirm. Senators Vance, Roberts, and Manchin were absent that morning. But we delayed the vote for what I'm hearing described as, quote, no reason until Vance and Manchin returned, deadlocking the vote at 49-49. We then failed to get the word to Vice President Harris quickly enough to come and deliver the tie-breaking vote. In the 90 minutes that transpired, Senator Manchin returned first, swinging the vote in the other direction and ceding the NLRB to MAGA control 2 years earlier than necessary. These procedural blunders have massive implications for the American people who deserve better from their elected officials. American workers deserve an explanation, which we're not going to get. We're not going to get one, of course. Insane. They could have run forward with the vote, and then they could have had Kamala Harris come in to deliver the tiebreaker. Yet, what is this if not sabotage? It's insane. Was this a blunder on purpose? It's fun. It doesn't matter, right? Like past the point, it doesn't matter. We're not. These aren't like kindergartners doing macaroni artwork that's going to be put up at home on the fridge. Like these are the most powerful people in the world. It doesn't really matter. It might sound conspiratorial, but Kamala Harris's brother-in-law wanted this outcome. He's on the board of Uber, and they've been wanting this for a while. I mean, enough It was 49-49. I'm not saying like all elected Democrats broadly, like secretly wanted this to happen, but this, like, whatever level of deliberate, like whatever level of intent you want to ascribe to this is beyond insane. Like, this is in a sane country, this is the kind of thing that would have like responsible individuals having their houses, like protesters, like filling the streets around it. 2 years, like all the work that's been done for unions, kaput, and 2 years too early. We could have had 2 more years of a favorable NLRB fighting for workers' interests. Maybe build some union power throughout the Trump presidency. Now, nope. She literally just had to show up, man. Even after not running through with the secondary vote, Kamala Harris just had to show up. She just had to deliver the tiebreaker. Maybe she was too busy observing the stars, which are, as you know, brightest during the dark. This would get you purged from the party under FDR. If the Democrats were actually even remotely left of center, this would be enough. Yeah, you would be like excised from the party. You'd be waking up next day with like a horse's head in your bed. I mean, it's insane. I don't even necessarily think that it's deliberate, malicious incompetence to an extent. I think that Democrats just don't give a shit. I think that a lot of them are reacting childishly to the Republicans' victory, Because in their head, they're these like institutionalist liberals. They're like, oh, people didn't vote for me, even though I promised to give them a something credit on their first home payment. They want to go with that dipshit? Okay, then fine. And they're acting like, I don't know, a wine mom who's being petulant at her kids not visiting or something. You know what I mean? Like, so as a, now they're like, oh, whatever. Oh, whatever. Yeah, the entire party is having a woman moment. Exactly. You know what's crazy? How often men have women moments. You ever notice that? Sometimes I feel like they have more than women do. Crazy world we live in. A lot of woke out there. I will, in my day-to-day, like with friends, I will say, you know, they're having a woman moment. I'll only do it with men. That's how you know I'm an ally. It's actually feminist if you say, oh, she's on the rag, but you're talking about like a guy in his mid-40s who's holding up a line at Dunkin' Donuts because he's mad that the person got an order wrong and he's being a bitch about it, you know? Men are better at everything, including hysteria. That's so true. Can you believe they invented a whole medical condition to just like, it's like, oh, women are crazy because they haven't gotten their nut off? Have you talked to a guy ever? You know the shit women have to deal with if they like make out with a guy at a party, but then they're like, oh, I don't want to sleep with you, I want to go home. And then the guy will be like, I will literally die if you don't make me come. How the f did women get the hysteria label? But the blue balls should have been like a Victorian disease, you know? They should have invented some like iron and leather wheelie crank device for that. Look, it's got to be pretty bad for Ro Khanna to talk about it. Ro Khanna is definitely on the progressive side of the Democrats, but he's not like a Justice Dem. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like an AOC type or a Rashida Tlaib type. So if AOC was going to do... Well, actually, AOC is loath to... AOC has had too many conversations with Pelosi where Pelosi threatened to kill her family, so maybe she wouldn't do the call-out or whatever. She's pretty... I don't want to say subservient, but you know what I mean. But it's the fact that the call-out is happening from someone who generally... Ro literally represents Silicon Valley. Which probably means he's not going to stay in his seat for very long, you know, because Silicon Valley gets more Hitlerite every year. Yeah, I talked to Ro Khanna. I think that Ro Khanna is a smart guy. I don't think he's like ideologically a progressive in the way that a lot of us are, you know. But I think that for the most part, he you know, he points the ship in more or less the right direction, kind of grading on a curve there. Wouldn't it be a good sign if the non-AOC types are willing to call this stuff out? No, that's the point that I'm making. Like, the fact that this call out is coming from a place that isn't openly oppositional to the mainstream Democrats. What's the point of advocating for anything anymore? This has convinced me the Dems actually plan to lose the election on purpose. First of all, it's not that simple. But second of all, what do you mean? What, you have a bad political party? Oh, so I suppose no one should advocate for anything in all the countries in the world where they don't have like Bernie Sanders types part? Like, what do you mean? You're going to tell all the people in all the lefties in Russia, all the progressives in China, like, no, you can't, no point in trying anything? Ro Khanna's a Justice Democrat, your thesis is wrong. Is he with the Justice Democrats? He is not like a social Democrat in the way AOC and Rashida Tlaib and what have you are. He's not part of the squad. Is he with the Justice Democrats? Yes? Okay, yeah. Oh, you're right. There he is, Ro Khanna. Totally blanked on that. He's not as aggressively woke. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, but he's not, he's more moderate. You get the point, but thank you for reminding me. Pelosi hates him too. Ro's probably going to run for Cali governor if his campaign files are of any indication. I just don't think he's going to get reelected. By what margins did he win this past election? House District 17. No, he still won by a huge majority. No, I guess not everyone in Silicon Valley works in tech. They're not all actually Hitler rights.